I've just put together my completed box of socks to take photographs of so that I can actually enter the Cal at the end of the year. I've just suddenly realised we're going away tomorrow and I haven't done this yet, so I kind of needed to get it done. And I just thought I would share my box of socks with you. So here are the 12 pairs of socks that I knit this year, not including the 2 pairs that I knit for Tom and a pair that I knit for somebody else, who if you watch the podcast you'll know, but I'm not going to mention on here in case she watches. But yeah, here is my box of socks for 2017. When I first started doing it this year, I really had absolutely no idea whether I was going to complete it or not. So I'm really pleased that I did. So I've got these ones here, which are just vanilla socks with, I have been wearing all these socks, so some of them are a little bit more warm, with an Eye of Partridge heel. And the yarn for that was a Mothie and the Squid in Summer Skies Rainbow, and I knit those ones for the Rainbow Along by Suburban Stitcher podcast. And then I've got this lovely pair of purple stripy socks, and this is Owl About yarn in her Lilac Mist colourway, one of her first sort of self-striping colourways. And again, they're another heel flap and gusset sock. I've got these ones, which are the Love Along socks, which I knit as part of the sort of Valentine's cast on that Julie of the Happy Knitting podcast hosted. And the yarn for this is Peggy May yarns. This was from her Valentine yarn box. Excuse the navy dye on my hand. And then I've got this pair here, which again, these are just vanilla socks. This might have been one of my first German short row heels, I'm not sure. But anyway, these are opal, and this was the, I call these my waving evening dress because it was the Hendes Abenkleid was the colourway name, which when I Googled it, it said waving evening dress. And then what have we got back here? So actually, I'll come to those ones in a minute. Okay, so we've got another pair of vanilla socks here. These are a little bit of a loose gauge, unfortunately, because I knit these on the 9-inch circulars, and I hadn't quite anticipated how much it would loosen my gauge up, so I kind of wear these as bed socks mostly. But this is London House yarns in the Honeydukes colourway. It's a lovely Stellina yarn. I don't know if you're getting the Stellina there. And then I've got these ones, and this is another Peggy May yarns. This is Alice in Wonderland yarn box, which she did over a year ago, nearly 2 years ago actually. I knit these at the beginning of this year, and this is the Neville socks, which is one of the free Harry Potter patterns by Erica Luda. And then what have we got? And then the rest of them are the New York sock collection. I haven't quite finished the New York sock collection, unfortunately. I've still got pair number 7 to knit, but I haven't even cast that on yet, so I've kind of accepted defeat at the moment. I will get it done, but not before the end of the year. But we've got the first pattern is this one here, and this is the Grand Central socks, and I used Sheep on Mars yarn, which doesn't have colourway names, but it's just really, really pretty grey and kind of rainbowy kind of colour. And then the second pattern, I can't remember what order, I think that was the second pattern. Is that the Avenues? Yeah, so that was the Avenues. And this was a random hand dyed by me yarn. In fact, this was dyed with food colouring when I was first dyeing yarn. But I'm really happy. I really like this one. It's just knit up really nicely. So that's the Avenue socks. And then I think the next one, so this is where I get a bit lost. I might have been this one actually. And I can't remember the names of all these patterns, but these are all from the New York sock collection. I'm trying to remember what it was. No, I can't remember. But this is sort of a lacy pattern. And the yarn for this one was West Yorkshire Spinners in the Sherbet Fizz colourway, the self-striping. And then there's this one here, And again, I can't quite remember which one this one was, but again, and this is the kind of precursor to my arty colourway, my arty sock set. I've got a slightly different colour heel. The socks that I do now has more of a turquoise heel, toe and cuff, but the main colour was kind of a precursor to that, and I was really happy with how it dyed up, so I dyed some up for the shop. And then I've got these ones. And this is sort of a cabley, sort of a mock cable kind of pattern. I don't know how well that's going to show up. And the yarn for that one is Rosie's Moments, Splashes, I think was the colourway name. And then the last ones, which you will recognise, are these ones. And these are the Central Park socks, I believe. Again, another lacy pattern. And the yarn for this one was Paper Stories in the Shell Cottage colourway. So yeah, really, really happy with how those all turned out, and really impressed that I managed to knit 12 pairs of socks for me. So in actual fact, I knit 15 pairs of socks this year, because I knit 2 gift socks, well, 1 pair of gift socks for Christmas and 2 pairs of socks for Tom. I also knit a pair for Jasper and a pair for Arthur, but I don't think kids' socks quite count. So yeah, that is my box of socks. I just thought you'd enjoy a little tour through my box of socks for today.